Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ghost Reviews. I am Ghost, and I will be reviewing this art piece that I drew a while ago, but I mean, yeah, we're just gonna share it right now. So make yourself comfortable, sit back, relax, and allow me to share some artistic knowledge with you. So, firstly, let's get into some background. Now, this blue haired guy is actually the third character in my MerryWeather Apartment series. Just like the other two, he landed in the apartment complex due to rather unfortunate circumstances. But what makes Noah different from the others is the fact that he has actually been married before, been in a relationship, and is a father to a little girl. Yes, that does indeed make him one of the oldest main characters that I have ever created. Well, kind of. You see, I created him after a video, after watching a video on K-pop idols. Like, I wasn't a K-pop fan at the point, but I don't know, there was just something about the people complaining about, like, the cleanses that the idols go on when they just, like, collapse on stage or something. And I was kind of interested, so I just did a little bit more research about it. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. He looks too old to be an idol. And yeah, that kind of is the point. He used to be an idol, but just like all the other idols, he was underfed, overworked, and had a lot of people taking advantage of him, especially like managers and stuff, the higher up people. Idols are under strict contract to never date, and I found that out after using Lovelink, but because they want the people to have kind of a pure and innocent image that people love so much. It's not, I don't think it's that strict on men, but especially on the females, I know, they are kind of forced to always keep that pure and innocent look, which is also why they start doing like, well, I want to say body modifications, especially in the face. And Korea, as everyone knows, is kind of the beauty capital. Everyone, if they're not naturally beautiful or wear makeup to be beautiful, they're kind of coerced to be beautiful, to do something to change their appearance and to be perfect. So, back to Noah's story. When it came out that he had a secret girlfriend, his fans went berserk, just like in the movie Perfect Blue, shaming him on the internet, stalking him, sending him and his girlfriend threats. And this kind of horrible fandom was the fact that his girlfriend broke up with him. They didn't stay broken up for too long, but yeah. Then the sadness really got to him, got even worse when his manager told him he'd have to remake his entire persona to fit some kind of bad boy persona. He wasn't that innocent person anymore, so the manager, they wanted to do something to make him better. It didn't end up working, as Noah, of course, obviously, was not in the mood for going into a whole new persona, a whole new outlook, changing everything. So, what he did was he ran away and never looked back. I mean, it's easier said than done. I don't really know how he did that, but yeah, years later, though, he got married, got a child, got divorced, had a lot of odd jobs, moved from place to place, and finally ended up in the MerryWeather Apartment complex. And if that's either to run away from his wife or the, media, no one really knows. All that we know is that I think I made him a music teacher for a while. Either way, he knows how to play the guitar, so that's fun. But yeah, this this character, Noah Yoon, has the most thought put into his character design because I really wanted to, especially in this character, want to lean into that whole PTSD feel. And I know a lot of people might say, "Oh, PTSD is only gotten when you went to war or something," but no, he actually had a bad falling out with people, which is why he doesn't like people, why he's always worried. You know, yeah, he's a nice character. I love him. And he, just like Casey and Bart, cannot communicate with people at all because of what happened. Casey, though, she is just an artistic shut in. She's different than other people, and because other people are so different, she's like, you know what? I'd rather stick to myself, be with an interesting person than with other people. And Bart, he's just a rude, spoiled rich kid. He always got what he wanted when he was younger, And now that he's older, he kind of expects the same kind of treatment, which obviously isn't gonna happen. And then, of course, there's Noah. He is the only real one of them who used to like people. Like, somewhere in their life liked people, he's the only one. And that was because they made him happy. He lived for the audience, for the applause, for everything. Before he faced a human-related trauma, of course, he actually did have a very big liking towards people. But after that trauma, he just grew afraid of them, and yeah, now he's got antisocial behavior. But justified antisocial behavior, which I think people don't often talk about. It's sad because a lot of people suffer from that. It's like, oh, you don't like people? Well, get out more. I wish that extroverts could hear them. I'm not going up to a bunch of people who always go outside and say, hey, you gotta stay inside more. You gotta be more close minded. You gotta stay indoors. Avoid people. If you can avoid people for more than 24 hours, then we can talk again. You don't hear introverts say that because they don't have assertive personalities, unfortunately. I'm sorry, I'm perhaps projecting here, but I do get annoyed by extroverts with that kind of personality. But anyway, let's move on to this drawing. In this specific drawing, I tried to make it rather obvious that Noah was a fairly worried, anxious individual. I mean, he lives in fear of being tracked down after all, so you kind of see things and little, signs, gimmicks, something that shows you, hey, this guy is kind of introverted, maybe leave him alone. It's like a hamster. Don't touch it. Leave him. Let him nibble his paw. What do they eat? Cheese? No, forget that. But yeah, I would like to share some key things that I did add to this design that kind of adds to his little personality thing. So the first thing that I really wanted to add was his earrings. Idols are especially known for their piercings and tattoos and things and dyed hair, and in males especially, it's kind of a taboo topic, I think, because they just don't traditionally wear earrings. It's a feminine thing because it kind of shows possession, or it did in the old time. It was like if you are a slave, you get an ear. I think it was like a wooden log or something that they pierced through the ear to say, well, you belong to someone. So traditionally, I don't believe that the male should have earrings, but I really liked it in this character to kind of lean towards his more fun-loving younger side, so that's why I added them. The dyed hair was always blue, but kind of a washed out blue, because I dyed my hair blue as well, actually. I have it dyed blue at this moment, not completely, but like a peekaboo moment thing. And I really wanted to add to that because you can have any funky color that you want. But if you wash your hair, that color's gonna come out unless you touch it up. But I did not give him one of those, roots regrowing out, so for now, they just have naturally unnatural hair colors. I still like that about them. And the next thing that I added was the black t-shirt saying "no photos please" in the big yellow letters. And this was kind of to hint to the fact that he was famous, which, idols on their off day, they don't want photos, but everyone else wants photos, so that's kind of what it hints to, but the jacket kind of obscures it because he was famous, but he doesn't want the attention that a famous person gets, so kind of cute hint there. Yeah, and the rest of his outfit was kind of borrowed from a cute tsundere boy from Obey Me. I kind of used him for a big reference in this case. I like the outfit idea that he has, so I kind of just copy and pasted a lot, but yeah. The color scheme, though, was actually quite fun to play with. It was very muted next to the things that I'm used to creating. Like blue and brown, it kind of has an earthy but kind of an empty, natural feel to it, and that's why I kind of added the whole green vibe in the sunglasses. So yeah, that's something fun to just take note of. Regardless, let us move on to the art tips. So today's art tips, I don't really have a lot of them. This, just like the other MerryWeather characters, it wasn't that hard to draw. You kind of just felt it out, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, and you put the thickness of the line, the brush that you're using, very, very low to kind of give it that marker feel, just like I did with the other characters. So yeah, there's not a lot, but I'll give you a few anyway. So the first tip that I have is actually something that I did not add with my very first characters, and that was to add wrinkles. Most of my characters are actually pretty young, so wrinkle lines usually is the last thing you think about, but seeing as to how much trauma this poor guy had gone through, plus he had a kid and he was married, you kind of had to add it. His first design still had like the wrinkles under his eyes for some reason, but the one in the corner of his mouth kind of, it just leads to that whole feeling, right? And they don't have to be precise or made to look too realistic, except maybe if you're like drawing anime or manga or something. In this drawing specifically, I just did like the 2 lines beneath the eyes and the corner of his mouth, and it already gives him, if not an aged look, it gives him a worried look, and that was what I was going for. If you want to know more about wrinkles, look them up. But usually people don't lean too much into that, especially if you're trying to create like a perfect character. Then maybe don't lean too much into it, just a few lines are more than enough. The next tip that I have to share for you guys is to add facial hair. Just like you guys saw with my Kaleo video, the angel boy, I like adding like a few stripes on the chin. It kind of hints to the fact that there's facial hair without adding a lot of facial hair. The mustache itself is kind of a strange, I don't know, it's just strange to draw that on a character, personally. So I would just kind of do the wispy chin thing, although in real life, if they just have a wispy chin hair, it kind of looks weird. I don't know, I stole this again from Aizawa from My Hero Academia, the idea. You could do it better, of course, but I don't like giving my characters too much facial hair. I just don't. I like seeing the face shape, because if you don't have the face shape, you don't actually see, is this a masculine or a feminine character? And characters with beards look so much different. I mean, have you seen Iron Man? Have you? Like, without the facial hair? Robert Downey Jr.? You would be surprised. The first time I saw him without his, like, famous beard, I was like, huh? Who this dude? Who's this child? Get him out of here. But, yeah, I digress. Anyway, tip number 3 that I have for you guys is the masculine and feminine face shape. People don't often actually talk about this, which is strange. If you're starting to learn the faces, they forget this step. Sure, use a sphere for the face. The face isn't really a sphere, but it is the easiest way to teach people. But if you want to make it a masculine and feminine, you gotta remember that feminine faces, like you could see with Casey, it's way smaller and rounder. And usually not too small and round, you kind of still want a tiny little chin to kind of give the idea that this person is in shape. What I did with Casey is I tried to ignore that and make it a more round face, because she is a shut-in and she doesn't get out to exercise a lot. With the masculine face, as I show here with Noah, you have a lot of sharp, angular lines. Those were like the main things that you should add if you want to differentiate two characters, male from a female. You could also like mix the features, like make a round face with like angular eyes, or the other way around, like I did with Bart. He still has a fairly round face, but he is still very immature. I kind of had to add that. I didn't really have a choice, but yeah. Anyway, that is the end of this video. That was a speed run of Noah, my third MerryWeather Apartment character. And he is such a wounded little soul that I just... If he was a real person, I'd definitely give him a hug, but... Then again, I think we all actually need one, especially now. Where I am at the moment, it is winter, so I would need a hug to keep warm, but... Yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this far in the video, and comment the shades emoji if you have, to send this poor little magician some love. But yeah, that is the end of the video, so I hope you guys would stay safe, and then I shall see you guys next time. Bye!